Hello and welcome to another Let's Play of Eldfall Chronicles. We are back with the neutral faction composed of an Onitashi, Task Mage Explorer and a Slayer Dragoon with a Lupus Rex mount, who will try once again to get through either this 4-inch gate or the imaginable 8-inch wall and onto the Mason's ground, where their previously patron ordered them to give him the artifact, because since then, as usual, a catastrophe happened and 2 Earth Elementals, 2 Gargoyles and a Golem are guarding the now new ruined settlement. As you can see here, I upgraded a little bit in regard of my playing mat. So now I have an actual playing mat, even when the one free in the starter set of Eldfall Chronicles is really beautiful. But I wanted something a little bit sturdier, so here it is, neoprene. And I already prepared the battlefield. One actually thing that happened after the second mission, the party receives 10 additional recruitment points, and as stated after the last game, I wasn't sure what I should buy for it, so I only brought the imported casting amplifier for the Task Mage Explorer to increase the range of all her spells by 4 inches. So with this, I positioned the party here behind the walls, and I will start the first turn of the party immediately, and the Task Mage Explorer will actually begin by casting the ward at the Slayer Dragoon, just to protect her from any non-critical incoming damage. And with a roll of an 8, this is successful. Once again, I will just use the defense stance token for that. Maybe that might be confusing with her, so let me just put this away. Let me use what might be... Yeah, come on. Yeah, we're using this one. And she will activate immediately a second time to cast the same spell, the ward spell, at the Onitashi. With a 14, it is just enough that the Onitashi, also get the ward spell. So, with this, the Slayer Dragoon will start her activation. And let me just measure. 6 inches and absolutely within 18 inches of her dash action, which is what she wants to do. And she's spending activation point. Here, the other Earth Elemental, we can just have a look around. From its position, it is more or less unable to see her until the very end, I would rule. Therefore, as soon as she is getting close with her Slayer lance of 2 inches, here it is. Still within reach. Let's just double check if the Earth Elemental is able to see her. Now it is able to see her, but I would rule that she is in light cover because part of the model is covered by the tree. But let's also see if she's within 8 inches. Oh yeah, definitely. When this 6, so both of these elementals will react by using a hurl action at the Slayer Dragoon before the Slayer Dragoon can finish her dash action. So the Earth Elemental, let's start with this one, because it will wait until the Slayer Dragoon is within 8 inches, then react by hurling. So therefore it gets a +4 bonus at its accuracy of 10, 14 or less. with a roll of 19. This is definitely not enough. Now, the second Earth Elemental, also +4 because half of the reach, therefore 14, -2 for the light cover. Therefore, it's only a 12 or less. And here we have a roll of 16. Therefore, this is also a miss. Now, the Slayer Dragoon will use her Slayer Lance to finish her dash action. And she has an offense value of 17. Therefore, 17 or less. It's a roll of 8. Therefore, this is a hit. Now she has original let's just have a look at her stat card. She has an original toughness of 12. Therefore, +3, 15. +2 for her mount, 17. Plus her assassination 1, +6. 17, 23. Minus the armor 10 of the Earth Elemental, 13 or less to wound the Earth Elemental. And it is a roll of 6 in combination with the Slayer Lance Caliph ability. These are 2 wounds. Here we go. And additionally, she has the knockback 1 quality at the lance, which means a model hit with this trait is moved from the point where its movement ended during the movement step. It is moved for X inches away from the attacker at the end of the resolution step. Exactly direction is the attacker's choosing. This trait does not affect a model 2 or more sizes larger than the attacker, but since the Slayer Dragoon is, because of her mount, also a size of huge, she's allowed to move the Earth Elemental. And she will move it a little bit closer to the other Earth Elemental, so that it is more blocking the line of sight and providing a little bit more cover. So also, this Earth Elemental gets the engaged state. Next, the Slayer Dragoon will activate once more. She will use once again a dash action because it doesn't matter to her since she only has 1 strike with her Slayer Lance anyway. And since the Lupus Rex grants her the Vigilance trait, it is also more or less irrelevant if if her back is facing to the gargoyle or not. So, with this, she walks around, still staying within 2 inches of the Earth Elemental, just to provide the engaged state. The Earth Elemental, now engaged, will, let's have a look at its reaction card quickly. Target of a melee attack and outside of 1 inch will dodge. It will dodge and move towards the attacker. Therefore, this Earth Elemental will dodge. This Earth Elemental will still use the Hurl activation. When the Slayer Dragoon moves from here forward. But this time, since the other Earth Elemental stands here, I would say this is heavy cover. And the Slayer Dragoon herself, she will attack the Earth Elemental. She's providing the engaged state. So, beginning with the Earth Elemental hurling at the Slayer Dragoon, +4, -4, +4 for the ability, -4 because of the heavy cover, 10 or less. It's a 2, this is a non-critical hit, but since the Slayer Dragoon had the ward spell on her, she's protected from any effect of the damage. That's why I had chosen to perform with the Taskmage Explorer the ward spell. Now, this Earth Elemental tries to dodge the Slayer Lance, therefore agility 6 or less. It's a 3. Now, the Slayer Dragoon needs a critical hit. Since she's an assassin, she will score a critical hit at a 1, 2, or 3. And sadly, it's a 4. This is not enough. So, now the Onitashi will activate. She will run 12 inches with her first action, staying cover behind the tree and the ruin for the other earth elemental not to activate. And let's see if she's already. No. This earth element, this earth elemental dodged towards the Slayer Dragoon. I forgot about that, sorry. And therefore giving the Slayer Dragoon the engage state. Now, the Onitashi will walk up to here so that she's within 2 inches. This earth elemental will activate by hurling a rock at the Onitashi, and this earth elemental will dodge the attack. Once again, the elemental farther away. +4 because the Onitashi is definitely within 8 inches. -4 because she's actually more in cover, I would say. Therefore 10 or less. It's a 14. This is not enough. Now this Earth Elemental will try to dodge the attack. 6 or less. And 11 is not enough. And now the Onitashi, usually she has only 1 strike. She is an Arms Master. And she uses her Fancying 3 ability to increase attack once more. She has an offense of 60, therefore 16 or less. A natural 1, which is huge because this ignores armor. And 2 times 14, therefore all 3 hit. Now, she has a power of toughness of, let me see, 13. And her Greatsword gives +2, therefore these two need a 5 or less to wound the Earth Elemental. It's a 2 and a 15. Therefore, this is already another wound. Now, the critical hits needs a 15 or less to wound the Earth Elemental. It's a 16, not enough, but she has the finishing strike ability. And the finishing strike, let me just see, okay. We will just grab the card. Finishing strike, when this model causes 1 or more wounds to a target, it may immediately make another unmodified strike run attack against the same target. It must use the same item or skill. If there are more targets, choose only 1. With this, another strike. And with a 9, we are below 16. And now once more, since it's not a critical hit, 5 or less. It's a 15, therefore the Earth Elemental still is 1 wound remaining. The Onitashi used her last activation, and the Earth Elemental will this time dodge towards the Onitashi and providing the engage state towards her. So, this was the first turn of the neutrals. Impressive to nearly destroying the Earth Elemental. I hope that they would do so. This is basically the tactic for this time in the 3rd quest of the Heart of Obsidian campaign. Trying to destroy the Earth Elementals quickly, then destroying the Golem, and dealing with the Gargoyles, whenever it is possible. So with this, I will prepare the Hostiles turn, and I'll see you then. for the second turn of the neutrals, I just realized that the Task Match Explorer could have activated through seeing the combat right here, but that's in the past. So now they have to deal with the situation at hand. And once again, the Task Match Explorer will activate first. She will walk 3 and 2 inches up to here. And she will cast, or try to cast, the ward spell onto herself to be a little bit better protected against the 2 gargoyles. 14 or less. It's a roll of 9. And therefore she gets a ward spell herself. Next, she will activate again. She will walk 5 inches up to here, more or less. Here we are. And this time she will cast Haste and Recovery at the Onitashi, just to get her up on her feet once again. It's a 2 and a 9, therefore it is 2 hits, which is enough to give the Onitashi back 2 hit points, and therefore she's still crouched, but she's back. Now, this was all behind the cover, or behind the cover of the tree at the ruin, therefore this Earth Elemental is not allowed to activate. And now the Slayer Dragoon will activate. She will attack the Earth Elemental from where she is. The Earth Elemental will dodge. This Earth Elemental is unable to react because no line of sight. Therefore the Earth Elemental will try to dodge. With a 17, this is absolutely not enough. The Slayer Dragoon, 17 or less to hit. It's a 3, and since she's an assassin, this is even a critical hit. Now she needs 23 or less. It's a roll of 6. She definitely damages the Earth Elemental, and since this Earth Elemental already has 2 wounds, it receives 2 additional wounds, which causes the Earth Elemental to crumble to dust. Let me just put away the Earth Elemental. And since the Slayer Dragoon, or the Lupus Rex, former, gives her the hit and retreat ability during its movement step, this model may cancel the engage state without any roll required. She didn't use that, but if it declares an attack in its action, which it happened, it may perform a walk during the resolution phase, which is right now. Why do I have my ruler? I don't know where the second one is, but I will just use this one. 2, and she will use it to get closer to the other Earth Elemental, and providing the engage state, I will just grab this token, to this Earth Elemental, without it to react. And next, and since this is the last possible activation right now, she will activate, this Earth Elemental will activate. The Earth Elemental will use a dodge action, because the Onitashi, the Slayer Dragoon, will attack her. Now, the Earth Elemental, needing a 6 or less to dodge, it's a 16. The Slayer Dragoon, 17 or less, it's a 4. Therefore, power of in total 23 minus 10, 13 or less to wound, it's an 11. Therefore, this Earth Elemental gets 2 wounds immediately, has the engage set, but it dodged closer towards the Slayer Dragoon. But since this was a new activation in the resolution phase, she's allowed to make a normal walk action, and she will use it to walk a little bit away from the Earth Elemental, but still within 2 inches, a little bit closer. Here we are. So that the Earth Elemental still has the engage state. With this was a quite successful turn. The Onitashi's more or less back on her feet, even if she's crouched, so she has regained her consciousness. The Task Match Explorer is a little bit endangered because of the 2 gargoyles, and this Earth Elemental is busy with the Slayer Dragoon. I'll prepare the hostiles' turn, and I'll see you then. The second turn of the hostile starts with the Golem, just once again rotating 2 times 180 degrees. Now, let's get into something more interesting. Starting with, let's go with the lower gargoyle, who will activate, walks into contact with the Taskmage Explorer, who will also react, and the gargoyle will attack with its gargoyle claws, 2 attacks, and this Taskmage Explorer wants to use her redirect damage spell, which is in confrontation. The redirect damage spell is a natural 1. Therefore, the gargoyle has 1 successful attack, which is redirected onto itself. It has a power of 12 minus armor 5, therefore 7 or less to destroy itself. It's a 19, it is not destroying itself. Next, the gargoyle will once again activate, and since the Taskmage Explorer still has the ward spell onto her, she will not react, hoping that the ward spell will protect her. A 7 and an 8, the 7 is a hit, therefore the ward spell is triggered and cancelled. And now the other gargoyle will react. It will also jump the Taskmage Explorer, who will once again react by using her redirect damage spell to make a confrontation out of this. The gargoyle, 2 attacks. It would be 2 hits. Let's see what this confrontation says, 14 or less. It's a 19. So, the Taskmage Explorer is hit 2 times. 12 or less to wound. 15 and a 9. The 9 is enough to wound the Taskmage Explorer, who is incapacitated. And now let's have a look at the updated card. It deals wound. This model gains an AP, and the wounded model loses an AP if it has any. Therefore, the gargoyle gets back to its 2nd wound. And now it will spend its first activation, or its 2nd, to jump at the Onitashi, who's at the ground. I have to repair this token because the glue is getting off. And the Onitashi will actually use a dodge action to hopefully stand up once again. So, base-to-base contact. The Onitashi, having an agility of 10, rolls a 17. Now the gargoyle, 6 and 2, 2 hits. Halved armor of 3, power of 12, therefore 9 or less. The gargoyle did not wound, but it spends another activation. This time, since the Onitashi used a dodge action, she cancelled the crouch state and will face the gargoyle once again. Since this time the Onitashi is standing, she will use an attack action and make a confrontation out of this. Onitashi, 10 or less. 20 and 12, nothing. The gargoyle, 12 or less. 20 and 3, 1 hit. And a 14 is not enough, it would have needed a 6 or less. So, but just giving these to the engage state. Now, here at the back, the Earth Elemental will walk and attack the Slayer Dragoon. The Slayer Dragoon, what will she do? She still has some agility of 12. Her defense normally 8, receives a +3, therefore 11. Will she make 1 roll to attack? Nah. She will try to dodge the Earth Elemental's attack. So the Earth Elemental 2 hits with a 4. It actually would hit once. 12 or less to dodge. It's a roll of natural 20, therefore 1 hit. The dodge was not successful. She will nevertheless go 4.5 inches away. And the attack of the Earth Elemental is a 14, power 16 minus the reduced armor of 3, 13 or less. Therefore, the Slayer Dragoon is not wounded, but once again, we are here with dealing with the stagger and the knockdown ability. Therefore, the Slayer Dragoon becomes the crouch state. Since she's mounted, this means actually, let me just grab the model, that she is dismounted and she loses her next reaction. And once again, the down token. None of these is now engaged, and the Earth Elemental will use its walk action towards the closest enemy. This is about 3 and something. This is 3. Therefore, the Earth Elemental will walk towards the Slayer Dragoon out of action, and thus will attack once more. Oh, I will pick it up later. So, 12 or less to hit, 3 and a 9. Armor 5 is halved, remaining 2. Therefore, the Earth Elemental needs a 14 or less to wound the Slayer Dragoon. It's a 3. The Slayer Dragoon receives 1 wound. So, with this, the Slayer Dragoon has the engaged state. The Taskmaster Explorer is down. The Onitashi back on the feet. The Slayer Dragoon is at the ground, but still breathing and fighting. So, let me prepare the party's third turn, and I'll see you then. The neutral's third or fourth turn? 1, 2, yeah. The neutral's turn will start with the Onitashi actually. What happened in the strategic phase? The Taskmaster Explorer used her first aid upgrade, and I forgot that last turn the Earth Elemental would regen 1 wound, therefore I corrected this. But first aid upgrade, therefore she has 2 activation points, is back in the game. But we will still start with the Onitashi activating and the Gargoyle also activating. The Gargoyle in its reactive step will use, if it is target of an attack, line of sight, and within 0 inches. Come on. I will get the focus one time. Here it is, and it will use the dodge action. Therefore, the Gargoyle will dodge with an agility of 8. Let's see. It's a 15. This is not enough. The Onitashi has 1 strike with a greatsword, Arms Master, and Fencing 3. Therefore, she will roll 16 or less. It's 120, which is not enough, an 8, which is enough, and a 12, which is also enough. So, 2 hits, power of 15, armor of 5, therefore 10 or less to wound. It's a 17 and a 14. I had hoped that she will destroy the Gargoyle and then would be able to help out the Taskmaster Explorer, which is not the case. So now let's see what she will do, or what the party will do next. I think since the Gargoyle will only attack if the Taskmage will only dodge, so the Taskmage stands up in her activation. She will activate next, and she'll declare a dodge action to get 2.5 inches away from the Gargoyle, walking up to here. Getting both Gargoyles in line of sight. Next, she will use her activation to cast the ward onto herself. With a 5, this is enough, so she gets the ward spell just to protect herself for the next turn a little better. Now the Onitashi do not has to have a bad conscience if she just attacks the Gargoyle in front of her once again. The Gargoyle dodges. With a roll of 6, it will actually dodge. The Onitashi needing natural 1s. And we have 6, 15, and a 16, which is not enough. The Gargoyle is still standing. Now, getting here. First of all, the Slayer Dragoon will stand up. So now, first activation, she will attack the Earth Elemental and the Earth Elemental will attack in return. Actually, will she do that? Let's see what the Earth Elemental will do if it is in contact. It will only attack if it's target of a melee attack. Line of sight within 16 inches will use a hurl activation, but since it is engaged, it cannot use it. Yeah, I would say not engaged, and there are more than one enemy within awareness, which is the case. It will try to cast Rooting Embrace, which will immobilize these two. Is it a bad decision for the party? It will happen now. Yeah, the Task Mage, the Slayer Dragoon will attack. The Earth Elemental, 14 or less. It's a 14. The Slayer Dragoon, roll of 4, therefore the Earth Elemental wins. Slayer Dragoon is knocked down and loses a wound, and with 1 it loses a wound. And with this, the Slayer Dragoon is incapacitated. That was not good. So, incapacitated, and that was the turn of the party. I'll prepare the hostiles turn. I'll see you then. The next turn of the hostiles starts with the Earth Elemental regaining its last wound. The Golem just 2 times once again, rotating 180 degrees. And we will actually kick off with this Gargoyle here, attacking the Onitashi. And the Onitashi trying once again to attack the Gargoyle to make confrontation out of it. The Gargoyle 12 or less, the Onitashi 10 or less. Onitashi setting the lower bar. Okay, 15 and 19. The Gargoyle 12 or less, it's 1-3, needing 6 or less to wound. It's another 3. The Onitashi is wounded, loses her activation, and the Gargoyle immediately will use it to attack once more the Onitashi, who cannot react. And the Gargoyle needing 12 or less, it's another 12, 6 or less to wound. This time it's a 9. And the third activation of this Gargoyle, once again attacking the Onitashi, 12 or less, natural 1 and a 5, the 5 needing a 6 or less, it's an 18. And the natural 1 needing a 12 or less, it's a 5. And with this, the Onitashi is a second time this game incapacitated. So, now the Earth Elemental will actually start. Since it is within reach, it will spend its first activation to hurl a rock at the Task Mage Explorer. Who will she take the hit? Per 6, yeah, she will try to take the hit because of the ward spell. She is within 8 inches, therefore the Earth Elemental needs only 14 or less. And this time I would say there is no cover, therefore 14 or less, it's a 12. But the ward spell will activate, she will keep her activation points. Next, the Earth Elemental will once again use the hurl activation. This time she will use her activation and try to cast the redirect damage, or will she try what? Let's go risky, it's more fun. So she will try to use redirect damage. Redirect damage, confrontation, 14 or less, it's an 18. And the Earth Elemental 14 or less, it's another 18, so both fail. Therefore, nothing happens. Now, this Gargoyle will jump the Task Mage Explorer, who will try again to use redirect damage, this time in hope to destroy the Gargoyle. Redirect damage, 14 or less, it's a 17. The Gargoyle with 2 attacks, 12 or less, 18 and 6. Now, since the Task Mage Explorer has no armor, 12 or less to wound, it's an 8. The Task Mage is incapacitated, and Once again, the hostiles won the game. I will just clean up the board and I'll meet you at the after action report. Okay, after action, rambling or report, depends on how you see this. The party definitely had a strong start, nearly destroying the Earth Elemental on the first turn, thanks to the offense capability of these two. And what I all in all think is that let me start again the sentence. I think that this party has the potential to win it, with the exception of the Taskmage Explorer. I think she has to be swept out against an Hellion League model, and let me just look it up how it is called. The Hellion Expatriate. And the Hellion Expatriate needs an upgrade so that he can basically confers the Melting Touch ability onto these two to ignore armor on a constant level. But the Onitashi also had bad luck with her rolls, so a few factors were playing into this. On the other hand, the Sand King, so basically the Hellion League, would be able to win the scenario with the support of the Onitashi and or the Slayer Dragoon. And the same is true for the Sand Kingdoms, because the Sand Kingdoms has the same ability to confer the the Melting Touch ability either through the Ferrous Outrider, who already has the Art of Enchanting Fire, or through the Spelldancer Aeroturk. I hope I pronounce it correctly, but I'm pretty sure that I just butchered it. And here the main goal is also to give her the fire instead of the electricity. I think she has Art of Enchanting 3, Air, and Elder. So she also needs the fire enchantment. And this is easily possible with giving her either the Elemental Lineage or the, I think it is called Mana Catalyst. Yeah, Mana Catalyst, which also provides her with, allows her to exchange either air or element affinity for one or the other, and exchanging it for the fire affinity, she will gain the ability to cast Melting Touch. But you should not exchange her air affinity, because then her electromancy will be lost completely. So basically, instead of the Mana Cataclysm, I just realized while rambling about it, you need to give her the... Actually, no, I just got brain freeze. You can exchange the Elder affinity for the Fire affinity, and then you get the Melting Touch ability and still keep your Electromancy 1, which is her only offense capability. So basically, long story short, Sand Kingdoms and the Hell League, I think, is in combination with the Onitashi and the Slayer Dragoon, easily able to win the third quest of the Heart of Obsidian campaign, basically only by transferring ignoring armor on these two, and these two will just slaughter the Earth Elementals then. At least that's what I foresee they will do. So, and with this, I'm not sure if I will do some faction-based scenarios, so basically player versus player, or that if I will start with the Coalition of Theniel, since I not painted all the models I wanted to use, and I can spoiler that the Slayer Dragoon is one of these models. So, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.